You let me know. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's get it. Giggle Gang, what is popping? It is your girl Irene. I'm back. I'm back with another exciting and dope episode. I know it's been a while. I'm kind of grinning when I say this because I had a couple of Giggle Gang members hit me up and kind of tell me what I was gonna say in my introduction, and I'm like, y'all don't know me, but they're right. They do. I've been gone for a little while, living my best life, just enjoying the beginning of the summer and my birthday and graduations and all the good things that happen in the month of May. But I'm back with another dope episode, and I have a very, very special guest, Mr. Victor Jackson. Listen, we got a mogul in the making over here,
I
yo.
will.
Like,
You know what? I received that.
I'm just
Amen and amen.
I just love I just love having these beautiful, talented people on the show to come chop it up with me and the Giggle Gang. So welcome, Mr. What is it, Glam Rock Soul, all of
Mr.
that?
Glam Rock Soul, Mr.
Yeah.
Glam Rock Soul LLC,
Okay.
Glam Rock Soul Entertainment Group LLC, if you will. But yes, thank you for having me, Irene.
Absolutely, absolutely. I heard so much about you. I met you a couple of years ago, I think
Hmm.
in Atlanta.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I see you. Followed you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, oh, you really bought that work. Okay, I like it. I'm intrigued. I'm
I'm
impressed.
sure. Yes.
I'm impressed, and here you are on the show. So shout out to you. Y'all, please excuse my allergies are kicking up, so I know I
Mm.
sound a little nasal, but it's me. It's Irene. It's not
I
doppelganger or anything like that.
I can see her, guys. I can see her. I can attest to
Yes,
this.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
we're gonna get right into it. Before I, let the listeners know what I've been up to. How was your week? Like, what you been up to? You
My
know?
week was good. My week was good. This past weekend, Memorial Day weekend, was the last weekend of Candy Burst's Welcome to the Dungeon tour.
Hmm.
And I served as choreographer and creative director for the tour. So it was really good. We had great shows in St. Louis, Dallas, and Houston. I got to see some of my friends come out to some of the shows. So it was good. We had a good
Oh,
weekend. As you may or may not know, the weekend before was Candy's birthday weekend, and that's when
hmm,
Foxy Brown came out in New York, and there was a whole
yeah.
fiasco
Situation
around that.
about not being
So,
able to hear herself.
but not coming to sound check either.
Well,
So,
I mean, what's tea? What's good? Like, what
I mean,
you
that's
want to
tea.
give us?
That's tea. If you
Oh,
want to
so
come to,
Foxy, you
if
ain't come to
you,
sound check.
if you want to hear yourself, you should come to sound check.
How about that?
Period.
Hmm.
So, God bless her. I mean, like, since then, I've spoken to her stylist, I've spoken to her cousin. Like, there's no bad blood. We're all good. We're all aware of what happened and why it happened.
Hmm.
But it was great to end out the tour on a high note.
Hmm.
This past weekend, it was Memorial Day weekend. Houston and Dallas were turned. St. Louis was turned too, but Houston and Dallas were like next level.
Of course,
And
of
then we had
course.
like our original cast. So Shamari DeVoe, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and
Hmm.
Black Delicious,
Hmm.
originally known from Flavor of Love, and then Trina, the baddest bitch,
You know it. What's up?
who I
305.
love on like a whole other level now.
Hmm.
But this lady has really been doing this for like 20 years, and she has the records and the receipts to prove it. And then Tamar Braxton and Candy Burris. So like it was good to have them all back in action together for the last weekend. So that's what I did. I rode the tour bus back from Houston by myself on Monday, and that's how I
You had a
celebrated my
whole
Memorial Day.
a whole tour bus. Were you like running around the tour bus, like just running, going
You
from bunk to
know,
bunk?
it was very much like being at home by myself in my apartment. My boyfriend and I share an apartment, but like when I'm at home by myself, I don't really like run around and stuff. I just I soak in the silence. So
Hmm.
on the bus, like, I mean, the bus sleeps 13, 14 people. So I've been used to hearing all those voices. Like when I'm asleep, people are in the front talking, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody might be snoring, or like all those other things. So it's just like, I'm on the bus. I could watch RuPaul's Drag Race, the reunion show, and photo fashion review afterwards. There
You
was
can
a
get your whole life.
there was a Will and Grace marathon on Logo TV. The bus had Direct TV, so like I was good. Bus had Direct TV and Wi-Fi and a whole bunch of snacks.
Oh, you were living.
I was fine. I was
Did they? How
perfectly fine.
often did he stop? Did the bus driver stop? I
We
mean, it's
stopped
only one
about
person.
3 times.
Okay.
Well, because there were two buses. There was the bus that I was on by myself, and then there was the other bus that like all the dancers yeah, all the dancers were on. So like
Oh,
my bus was like bus number one. So like Candy, her glam team, DJ A1, our production staff, like they were all on.
are the dancers not allowed to get on the other bus even
I
if people
mean,
aren't on there?
they could have, but
But
they were all like,
they wanted their
they
own
were like,
thing.
you should get on our bus, and I was like, no, why would I? Why would I do that?
Oh
Like,
wow. Okay.
I mean, y'all can visit me 4 at a time. I don't want all y'all to come at the same time. Like you could come next door, but
Not four at a time.
I
Okay.
really enjoyed like having my space. And after being on this tour, like I've been working on this tour for the last 2 months, and in that time, like I went to Russia for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, I recorded, mixed, mastered, and released a single.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, my grandmother passed. In that time, I promoted and produced a whole other show here with some indie R&B artists in Atlanta. So like I've done so much in the last 2 months that it was good to just have a day where I was forced to do nothing.
I feel
Like
you.
I had to just sit down on that bus and
And just
eat
live
it.
your life. No,
You know?
I totally get it. I totally get it. As for me, what's been going on the last couple of weeks? I celebrated a birthday.
Happy belated
Thank you so
birthday.
much.
Is that Team Taurus?
Yes, it is.
Oh, shout out to
Absolutely.
you. Candy's a tourist too.
That's why I like Candy, and she bought her
Mm-hmm.
money. So
Mm-hmm.
I love money. So I definitely
Shrimp.
respect her hustle and her grind. So she does her thing. But yes,
Yes.
I celebrated a birthday. It was dope. Had close friends with me, just hung out. What else did I do? I think since the last episode, I went to Something in the Water.
Mm.
The
Mm.
Pharrell.
How
Yes,
was that?
amazing. That show, that festival was amazing.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it's the first time I've ever been to a festival on the beach. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's literally you're in the sand
Mm.
watching these various artists perform. And the first day got rained out.
Right.
And Fire Festival got these promoters on their toes. So within 10 minutes of them telling us that, Friday was canceled, they sent us an email like, hey, don't fret, we're gonna refund you 1/3 of your ticket because it's a 3-day festival.
Oh.
So they refunded us
Well,
for
that's
Friday,
awesome.
which was dope. I was like, oh, okay, thank you, appreciate you.
Herefore, I'll take this spending money.
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
go.
So Pharrell brought everybody out, of course, Jay-Z, Usher, Snoop, just everybody. It was dope. I would definitely go back again. Uh
Yeah.
it reminded me of just a dope ass show, like a Coachella without the
The white.
dryness. Yes, because Coachella has like all these sculptures and lights and
Mm-hmm.
things of that sort, but it's Pharrell. So
Mm-hmm.
he has partnerships with Adidas and
Yeah.
other major corporations. So all just to see all of those partners out there, not only supporting the show, but doing things for the community. So let's
Yeah.
say, because I believe Virginia Beach is made up of 6 or 7 different cities.
Mm-hmm.
And he made sure that there was stuff for the community. So you didn't necessarily
Yeah.
have to buy the ticket to go to the show, but you could go to a basketball camp or you could go
Mm-hmm.
to the Adidas shop and get some free swag or whatever. So it was
Yeah.
really, really dope. The except for, barring Friday, the weather was beautiful.
Oh
Like just
wow.
it I'm going back next year. I gotta go back.
I was so upset that I couldn't go, and I mean, just like timing and my schedule wouldn't allow me to.
Yes.
But that is the first time that I saw a festival lineup, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
oh, whoa, whoa,
Like
whoa.
everybody that I want to see is here.
Everybody. Like usually
Everybody.
I'll get like 3 to 5 people on a festival
Right.
lineup, like 3 to 5 people over a course of like 3 days where I'm like,
Right.
okay, this day I see this one person, this day I see these two, and I'll be like, it's not worth it. But that I was like, oh my gosh. And then
Yes.
I saw he did some type of his own type of Sunday service, if you
Yes,
will,
he did.
and invited all these choirs from like
Yes.
local churches. And I just think,
That was
I
one of the
mean,
that was one of the free events.
that's so great. I saw
Yeah.
he had Jaquel Knight, Beyonce's choreographer, come and judge a dance competition. Like
Yep.
just those types of things, that type of mind
It
and
was
being able to
so much. It was
like being able to have the relationships to get a call sculpture on the beach. Like,
see, you saw that, like, and people, a
yes.
lot of people didn't really know. Like, there were people who knew about cause, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's and because he not only did he have cause out there, he had Hebrew Brantley.
Mm,
So
mm,
they
mm.
had a big bus out there. You could see the artwork, and they have this school project initiative. And it was just, you can get posters, you can get merch. So I was in a line like trying to get the t-shirts. I was able to get a shirt and a hat.
Yeah.
But you see all these facets of art. So you have music, then you have visual art,
Yeah.
you have performance art. It was just really dope. It was such an eclectic, that's what it was, such an eclectic and colorful event. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, this is amazing. But
I
yeah,
love
the
it.
cause that having cause out there was like, is this shit on the damn beach? And
I
to
mean,
see it up close,
yeah.
yeah, it
That's
was
next
beautiful.
level.
It
That's
was
next
definitely
level.
beautiful. And then what else? And then last week my youngest sister graduated from medical school.
Oh,
So shout out to my baby sis. She is a urology surgeon.
work,
So
sis.
yeah, yeah. It's
Work.
pretty dope. So there's been a lot just going on over the last couple of weeks. Because like I said, May is what it is. But I'm back
Mm-hmm.
and I got Victor with me
I mean, hey,
and we
you
about to
brought
get it.
gifts.
Yes, I brought gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody get into the show. So before we get into the show, Victor, I have an icebreaker because
Mm-hmm.
I want the Giggle Gang to, kind of like, I feel like they have an idea of your personality. You're outgoing. You're
Mm-hmm.
not you're not shy or anything like
I'm
that.
not shy.
So here's a little bit of an icebreaker.
Okay.
Being as though you are a choreographer,
Uh-huh.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen a lot. You've been a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've dealt with a lot of personalities.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most ridiculous thing you have encountered and or saw or experienced
Mm-hmm.
while teaching choreography, like while teaching a routine or what have you?
Uh mm, there's one particular situation
Oh, I can't wait.
that stands out in my mind. So Candy did a musical called A Mother's Love. She
Mm-hmm.
like wrote a musical called A Mother's Love. I was the choreographer for the musical. And it was a really great show, great cast. And Portia was a part of that cast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta. For anybody who's like Portia de Rossi, no.
No, not
Portia,
Ellen's wife, the other
no,
Portia.
the other Portia. Portia Williams. I think it's Williams. Yeah.
Yes.
Um. So and I mean, we're talking about like actors who I have worked with at like reputable theater companies in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
who are here in this room, and we're all working. Boom, 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 boom. So this particular day, they were learning a new song. And then I was going to set the choreography and blocking for the song. So they spent like an hour and a half learning the song. Then we spent about another hour and a half or so blocking and choreographing because it's a cast of about 12 people. So it's like I'm having to look at what everybody's doing on stage. So finally, after that 3 hour block of time, I'm like, everybody, let's take five and come back and let's run this number from the top.
Okay.
So Portia and the guy who's playing her love interest are like up stage right. So they're
Mm-hmm.
not like right in front of me, but they're like the furthest away from me actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, everybody, cool, let's get to places. All right, music, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're going, and everybody is singing and acting, and the mode was you're in these conversations with the people who you're connected to.
Mm-hmm.
So with like specials on each couple, so we just see them. And so I see Portia's love interest singing to her and kind of acting through it. And she, like, her lips aren't moving, but her hands are moving. And she's doing like all this extra movement, right? And so I watched for like 30 seconds, literally. Like, I'm like, maybe she just like forgot a word, or maybe she just doesn't know this line. Or so after a while, I'm like, okay, hold. Portia, why aren't you singing? Oh, so we supposed to sing and act at the same time?
Portia, what? Oh my God.
And
What did you see everybody else doing?
literally the way you just turned around and looked over your shoulder, because of where she was placed on stage, like they were the furthest back. So everybody, it was like a movie. So like everybody just like turned around and looked over their shoulder at the same time, like, what?
Yeah.
And I, at that moment, it was like, okay, if I laugh, everybody's gonna laugh. So I can't laugh. But I was like, yo, this is a
What?
musical. This is musical theater. So it's music and theater at the same time.
But
So you have to sing and act
Victor, I'm so mad that you have to
simultaneously.
say it like that though. Because man, why are you here? What do you like?
But then, but then after
What
that,
did you think?
she was like, oh, okay, cool, let's go. And so that is probably the most that's probably the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to me
Sometimes I just
during
wonder.
rehearsal.
I'm like, yo, they put anybody on television these days. I mean,
You know,
like
well,
what? Portia. The
but
reason
you
why I
think
say
about
that is because you would think that some of the stuff that they do on Real
mm-hmm,
Housewives, oh, they
mm-hmm,
edited it out. Like, okay, Portia. Not to say that she's not. I don't want to speak disparaging. Like, I don't want to say
mm-hmm,
anything negative about her in the sense,
mm-hmm.
but her personality is she's slow, right? But TV likes to make things. They like to amplify things. But now I'm listening to you tell this story, and I'm like, really?
Well, I after being on, like, I've been on Housewives since Candy's first season. I've also done Brats and Family Values. I did the Candy Factory, Candy spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
I did like I've done about 5 shows at this
Mm-hmm.
point. And so I know that they cast the same way that they would cast if it was a scripted series. Like Living Single
Mm-hmm.
had Khadijah, who was all about her money.
Right,
Regine, who
right,
was all about fashion.
right.
Maxine, who was all about like feminism and gender equality. And then Sinclair, who was very much like
Aloof.
aloof. And
Yeah.
so if you look at most casts of major reality show franchises, they
Mm-hmm.
kind of followed that same structure. Or if you look at the friend group on Girlfriends or the friend group on Sex in the City, or
That makes
you know,
sense.
so there's always gonna be somebody who is genuinely from the bottom of their heart with no ill intent, just not all the way here.
Not all the way. Oh my God. I'm just
And
imagining her just moving and dancing and not moving her, but and not singing,
I
but
mean,
everybody else
just
around you
like
is
pantomiming, like full fledged church anniversary, Kurt Carr,
what are
white
you
gloves,
talking?
white face, pantomiming.
Never would have
Look,
waited.
all through it, all through it. I was like, and it was one of those things where it's like, if I
Oh
dwell on
God.
this too long, it's
Yeah.
gonna completely like interrupt rehearsal. So
You have
I
to
had
keep
to
it
like
going.
say it, make sure she got it, and be like, woo, back to the top, everybody. But yeah, that
I
was
see you
probably the
being a
craziest thing.
professional. I see you being a
Well,
professional.
my dad's a pastor and my mom's a teacher, so I've learned how to get through to people with patience.
Okay. That is very interesting. I'm glad you said that because that's a very good segue into the next segment
Uh-huh.
of the show. I want to get into your business. I want to know who is Victor Jackson? Who is Mr. Glam Rock Soul? Like, what is it that you do?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to where you are now? Because you've already, you've spoken a little bit about your work with Candy Burris and you know, um, these various reality television
Mhm.
franchises that you've worked on. But you know, how did you get there? Like, what is your background? And you
Mhm.
know, yeah, tell us about yourself.
I was born and raised in College Park, Georgia. Uh,
Hey, you an Atlanta boy for
I'm an
real?
Atlanta boy for real.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of four. My parents met in choir at Talladega College.
Oh
Shout
wow.
out to the HBCUs,
Hey.
and had four children, and we all sing. Uh, all are into performing arts, and I went to Tri Cities High School, which is a performing arts high school here.
Mhm.
That Candy went to Outcast,
Oh,
Kenan
dope.
Thompson, Saquon Simbla, all of these like major art performing arts figures went to Tri Cities High School. So went there, and so I went there, went to college for 3 months, went to SCAD in Savannah, dropped out, moved back to Atlanta, and just started grinding. Like, started auditioning for shows, started auditioning for music videos, was working at a boutique simultaneously. So I mean, pretty much at this point, I just say by trade, I'm a multi hyphenate,
Hmm.
but I'm a teaching and performing artist. I teach with Broadway Dreams, which is a musical theater intensive. This year, I was able to go to New Zealand and Russia with them to teach for 2 weeks. And we're about to start our summer program, but it's for aspiring artists of all ages. I also work with artists and do artist development, which is a cool, rewarding process to work with somebody like, say, Summer Walker and
Hmm.
hear CPR or Girls Need Love a year before anybody else does.
Because I
And
love. She was in my beats the other a couple of weeks ago, like
yeah,
a couple of
so
episodes ago. She's
she's
amazing.
incredible. She's amazing. And like through artist development and not necessarily like choreography, like 8 counts, but just like giving artists an opportunity to find their stage self, whatever that is.
Hmm.
I did development for August Alsina, did development for Iggy Azalea, and went on to like choreograph the Fancy video and all those things for her on that first album. Um, I'm an artist, a singer, songwriter. I just put out a new single called Venom on Friday.
I heard.
Available on all digital platforms
Yes.
and link in my Instagram bio. So yeah, and I'm also like an event producer. So I like to produce events here in Atlanta that give a platform to underserved or unseen artists. So I just did a sold out show at City Winery Atlanta called New Soul Atlanta. It was myself and three other independent R&B artists who have all like worked with, who we've opened for collectively. We've opened for Tweet, for Music Soul Child, Anthony David, Algebra, all those people. But we wanted to do something together, so we put all our resources together and everything. And Candy and Q Parker from 112 introduced the show, and we sold it out. So
Nice.
those are all the things that I do at the same time. Um, yeah, that's
So
me.
so what's the motivation? Like what I heard you say you went to school for three
Mm-hmm.
months and then
Mm-hmm.
dropped out and was like, let me get on this grind. What
Yeah.
was the motivation behind that? Like, what was it about school that you're like, this ain't for me, but let me go do this?
Specifically, SCAD was at the time like 35,000 a semester.
Oh shit.
I had gotten a partial scholarship, and within like the first month of me being there, I had auditioned for the show choir and became or was made a section lead, which isn't supposed to happen unless you're a third or fourth year student. But because I was the only baritone who could read music, they made me a section leader.
Hmm.
And then the dance department wanted me to choreograph a piece for like the president's fall reception or something. So I
Hmm.
was like, hey, I'm working. Like I'm working. I'm working on a partial scholarship. And so I very much like sat down to performing arts teachers and was like, hey, the next semester is about to come up and I should have more than a partial scholarship.
Yeah, like
This is
I'm
what I'm doing.
working. Y'all gotta pay me. Like,
And
what's
they
up?
were like,
Pay for
we'll
school.
see, we'll see. And, you know, even if it was like a I forgot what they call them, but something where like I'm getting, or even like a little internship or
Like a work
apprenticeship or
study?
something, like a work study. Yes, that would have been one thing, but there was nothing that anybody could do. And being the first of my four siblings, I was like, I'm not going to put my parents in debt, um, off of me going to college, like
Right.
because they have three other kids to do this for.
Right.
So I was like, if I'm good enough to be choreographing for this school, and I'm good enough to be section leader for this show choir because of how well I could read music, then let me get out here and try to work.
Yeah.
And so, but I always tell people, though I didn't have 4 years in school,
Mm-hmm.
between 18 and 21, I was able to work under a lot of people who taught me, how to be, who taught me how to, create invoices, who taught me how to budget, who taught me how to do creative decks, who taught me how to do all those things. So when I did hit 23 and decide to go into choreography and creative direction full time, my arsenal was full.
Mm-hmm.
I had styled shoots by then and been an assistant, a stylist assistant. I had assisted choreographers by then. I had done artist development with some artists who were little known or never became known, but I was able to be in rooms with Kevin Lyles and all of these other music execs and see what they were looking for. So I had an abundance of knowledge, not
Mm.
from college, but
From
from
life experience.
life experiences. And I always tell people, if you're not going to go to college, you need to find somewhere where you can learn. You need to
Mm-hmm.
be under someone who can teach you and who can guide you. And I always recommend to do it like 2 to 4 years at least.
Absolutely. So it sounds like not only have you worked with a myriad of people, but one of the people that you work with quite often is Candy.
Hmm.
So
We've
I'm
been
a,
working together since her first season on Housewives.
so is that how did you guys meet?
We met. Her best friend was having a birthday dinner, and my best friend Derek J was like, "Hey, you want to come with me to this birthday party?" And I was like, "Sure." Went with him to the birthday party. We all went to dinner first, and then we went to like an open mic night here in Atlanta, and it was hosted by Joy, the
Mm-hmm.
original singer of Lick. Um, and she was like, "I want my friend Victor to come on stage. I know everybody's singing, but he's gonna dance because that's what he does." And it's funny, that story has two dynamics because Anthony David and India Ari were also there that night,
Mm-hmm.
and I've I'll go back. But she was like, I just want you to dance to the band. And so the band started playing and I started dancing and we had a good time on stage. And then I went back to sit down and sat next to Candy and she was like, "Hey, I'm about to be on Housewives. You want to be my choreographer?" And
Excuse me? Wait, what? That's it?
I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Okay, cool." And that was it.
What?
Like
I be
literally, it
trying
was
to tell
that
people it
simple.
be that simple.
It was that
What?
simple. But I mean, I feel like it's that simple when it's like
When opportunity meets
purpose.
yes,
Yes.
like yes,
When opportunity meets preparation.
yes.
If Joy would have called me up on that stage and I would have been like,
Nah, I
I'm
mean,
shy,
yeah.
then it wouldn't have happened. And the funny thing why I mentioned Anthony Davis because I opened for him in December. And at the end of the show, like at the end of his set, he called me back on stage and told that story to the audience from his perspective.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, when Joy called him up there, I was like, can nobody like dance to a live band? Like, how are they gonna do that?" He was like, "You're the only person I've ever seen dance, and it's like you're speaking. It's like you're talking, like you're telling us a story." So, I mean, that night has provided working partnerships and professional friendships, honestly, on two totally different ends of the spectrum.
Wow.
Being able to like open for Anthony David, and we've worked on music together, and also being Candy's choreographer and creative director for the past decade.
Wow. So it's safe to say that the bag is always secure when
You
you're working with
know,
Candy. I
it
mean,
is there.
housewives say
It's
one
there.
thing, but I'm like,
No,
I
no,
feel
no,
like it's,
no,
I
no.
feel like it's there, man. I feel
She
like she
owns
don't
her
play.
house. She owns her car. She pays on time.
She pays on time. That's what I
Uh,
know all the other stuff. I'm
and
just
in
trying to get
full.
to that. Yes.
Yes,
I know it. I
and
know
it's a
it.
great working relationship. Candy, like I said, she
That is
graduated from
dope.
Tri Cities High School too, and like the Scott sisters went to the
Hmm.
same church that I grew up in. So I remember being 8 and Escape coming to my church to sing "Is My Living in Vain." I remember being in high school and Candy being like applauded as like the patron saint of Tri Cities High School. Like even the first reality show that I did, it was called Welcome to Dreamland, and the final performance, Candy was a judge. Candy and B Cox were judges
Hmm.
on the show. So like our paths had crossed in so many ways. Her mom's Mama Joyce's house
Hmm.
that Candy grew up in is one street over from my parents' house.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it's all those things, and that's why like when people are like, oh, I mean, it was that easy. She was just like, you want to be my choreographer. I
No.
feel like it was always purposed
Yeah. It was
to
destined.
be. It was destined to be, and it was just like I said, preparation met opportunity that night, and that night it was able to happen without a hitch.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
dope. That's
yeah.
dope. And then the last thing, really quickly, you mentioned earlier, and you do all this stuff, but somebody done dropped a single
You know,
on the internet. It's all
she's
over on
here.
streaming
She's a bop.
platforms.
She's a
Yes,
bop.
she is. Yes, she is.
She is a summer solstice.
So
She is.
not a summer solstice.
Yes, she
You better come
is.
through.
She
No,
is a
but
bourbon
seriously,
lemonade.
yes, I like it. She's that watermelon, some of
Yes.
that summer watermelon, that Syrah.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
So tell us about that whole process of, okay, now you are in the studio and you are
Yeah.
recording and dropping a
Uh
single.
quickly like a back and then a forward. I had moved out to LA in 2015 because Iggy Azalea was going on tour.
Hmm.
We had done everything to promote the first album. We had done her first tour, all the TV performances, everything. And I had moved to LA for 6 months. Now, I was 29 at the time, and I promised God that I would start working on music again when I turned 30.
Hmm.
But I was also like at the height of my choreography career. Like with Iggy, we had done every major TV show, every
And
major
Iggy
award
was
show,
big.
and it was huge. It was huge. It was a huge deal. And the tour got pushed back, and they told us that when we were in Dubai, and then the tour got canceled. And I remember walking across the street.
Why did tour get canceled? Do you remember?
Well, it was they were trying to the tickets weren't selling. It
Okay.
was an
Okay.
arena tour, and it was like a large leap from the small venue tour that we had done in the spring, the year prior. So the tickets just weren't selling. So they were like, we're not going to be able to do it right now.
Okay.
And I remember crossing the street in LA at La Tahira, right there by Magic Johnson's TGI Fridays and
Hmm.
the Starbucks. And God said very clearly to me, you need to go back to Atlanta. And I was like, well, you told me to come to LA. He was like, and now I'm telling you to go to Atlanta. And I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. And I went to Atlanta and I released my first single, Bus of Love, on my 30th birthday. And from then till now, I'll be 34 in July. And Venom, which just came out on Friday, is probably I won't even say probably. It is the song that I'm the most proud of.
Mm.
I recorded a whole other 5-song EP last summer. And I was like, oh, I just finished my single. I mean, I just finished my EP. Like I posted on Facebook, like, oh, y'all don't know what's coming. And the more I sat and listened to it, the more I was like, this doesn't reflect where I am in my
Mm.
life right now.
Mm.
Like, I wrote all those songs and they were all amazing songs and they may regurgitate at some other point in my life, but I was like, this isn't where I am. And so I went to teach in DC in February and I was flying back to Atlanta and I just wrote, I was like, oh, I just started thinking about things, and
Hmm.
I feel like I always think better on planes because I'm in the air, and I feel like I'm closer to God,
Yep.
and so I feel like there's no in between. It's like Jesus, clouds, me on a plane, and it's just like, ugh.
Right there.
Yeah. And so I wrote, if death and life is in the power of the tongue, I just killed you dead. And I was like, ooh, oh. And like, I spent that entire flight just like writing. And when I got back to Atlanta, it couldn't. I had a whole other single that was
Hmm.
supposed to be coming out this summer. I already recorded it, already mixed, mastered. I performed it at a Halloween party last October in LA. Like, all these things ready. And Venom was just in my head, in my head, in my head. I kept writing it, kept writing it. Sang it to my little sister, like a cappella, and she was like, "Oh, I know this producer who'd be really good." Turns out he went to Tri Cities too. He
Of
plays
course.
everything. I sent him a voice note. He sent me back like a percussion track and a bass line. And he was like, if you like it, I'm ready to work. Went to his house. He tracked out the entire song in his bedroom. We then recorded it together. I did 2 recording sessions, a mixing session, mastering, and all of this is while I'm like in pre-production and rehearsals for Welcome to the
Yes.
Dungeon. And so I'm like going and I'm coming back in, and I went to Russia to teach for 2 weeks and I'm coming back in, and I'm like all of these things, but it was like the little single that could. And I told myself, I was like, I have to have this single out before the tour is over. And I put it out. I literally uploaded it to DistroKid Thursday afternoon. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to show up on iTunes tomorrow. I don't know. And I woke up the next morning and it was on iTunes.
Oh, wow.
And so it's exclusively on Apple Music all throughout this past weekend. And now it's on Spotify as well. And it'll be on all digital platforms by Friday. But Candy loves it.
I was
Like,
just gonna
like
ask, like,
she really, really loves it. Like, it's kind of crazy to me to see somebody who
because
I
she's a
admire so much.
songwriting
She
guru,
is. I
like,
mean,
no scrubs,
Bugaboo, no
like,
scrubs. Like, it's not, I mean, this isn't like a random
right, this
person.
is Candy. Like,
This is Kent. And she's like, I love it. Trina, I love it. Tamar walking up to me. Oh, if death and life is in the power of the tongue, that's what you want
oh,
to say to the people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all listening to Tamar posted it on her Instagram. Like, we were out after a show and she was like, I want to post your single on my Instagram. And I was like, okay. She's like, send it to me. I said, girl, I texted to you already. She's like, oh, okay. And then she just hands me her phone. She's like, here, just put it on my stories and I'll type the words. And like it's that type of camaraderie that I feel like
that's dope.
made Venom sit in my mind so heavily. And I could have said, no, I don't want to do that and pushed against it or whatever, but through it all, I was like, I have to get this song out. I have to get this song out. I have to get this song out. And just the response, even one of my mentors, I played a rough version for her. And she like started crying afterwards. And she's a songwriter as well. And like she's written songs for Danny Kane, hooks for Lil Wayne, like all these things. And she was like, this is a record, Victor. And so it's a song that I'm really, really proud of. And I'm excited
Absolutely. It's
about
dope. It's
the
definitely
rollout.
about,
It's
yes.
a bop, y'all. Venom.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Get
I'm
it.
super excited to hear you talk about this and just looking at you while you talk about this, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Because
Yeah.
these are the stories that people don't really get to hear.
Yeah.
And although, we talked about, preparation, meeting, opportunity, and things of that sort, like somebody is just going to take, oh, she just asked him to be her choreographer, and just take that and be like, yeah, that's why my life isn't the way it is, because I don't have. No, go out
Hmm.
there, put yourself out there.
You
Everything
have
that
to.
Victor has said has required him to get up off of the couch and utilize his gifts. Like, you
Yeah.
got to, even when you don't feel like it, you
Oh
just
my
have
God.
to, because these opportunities are not going to come knocking at your door unless you're
Mm-mm.
Beyonce.
Mm-mm. And
Even still, you gotta put
even
music out there.
still, eight
Like,
months of rehearsal, like Coachella knocked on her door and she
yeah,
said, I'm going to do 8 months of rehearsal for this show.
right.
And she pulled out all the stops,
She
which
had to
garnered the Netflix situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like on every level, you have to put in the work. And the
always
amount of work that you have to put in actually
increases.
increases.
Yes, because the expectation is now higher.
Oh my gosh. I was on
Listen,
face. in Russia. I was in Russia for 2 weeks. And this was dead in the middle of the rehearsal process for Welcome to the Dungeon. Like, I made sure I finished all the choreography for the show before I left. And I'm like on calls with Trina's management while I'm in Russia. I'm on calls with Tamar's management while I'm in Russia. I'm FaceTiming Candy. And Russia was 8 hours ahead. So, like,
Oh,
I would be working while everybody on the East Coast is asleep. And then by the end of my work day, everybody on the East Coast is waking up and emails are coming in. And so I was staying up to like 3 a.m., 5:30 a.m. every
every
day
day.
for
You had
two
to.
weeks. And I mean, in that moment, it was like, ugh. But then I got back and we had two tech rehearsals and then started the tour. And my sleep schedule was fine because my body never adjusted
Yeah, yeah, because
to
you were
Russia
up.
time. But you know, I mean, it's those requirements. Like, Victor, if you want to be able to teach internationally and have a US tour about to go out, and at the same time, I had put out Q Parker's uh 90s number ones tour.
Hmm.
And so, like, I had two tours in rotation, and I was teaching in Russia, and I was working on a single. And I could not drop the ball on any of them. Like, there's always going to be an expectation of excellence, and you
Yep,
have to hold yourself to that.
absolutely.
You have to hold yourself
That's
to
why
that.
you were hired. It's
Yep.
like, okay, if
Come
you want to keep
on.
your job, I'm coming here slipping.
Show
So
up.
yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Okay. I see you. I see you. Um, so what's the ultimate goal for you?
The ultimate goal, honestly, is just to change the perspective of people who live and love like me.
Okay.
Multi hyphenate, I don't necessarily know how that'll happen, but I do know that I have all the tools to continue to make that happen. Like, I'm doing an event here, launching a festival here in Atlanta called Pride and Soul, and it is a sonic celebration of Black Music Month and National Pride Month.
Hmm.
So the entire lineup is Black queer artists, and
That sounds dope.
I have an opportunity to do that because of the relationships that I've made within, you know, the music scene here. And as long as I'm able to do things like that with Broadway Dreams, I recommend a certain number of Black students to be able to get scholarships for the intensive every summer. Like, all those things, in every area, I'm kind of shifting the way that people who are Black or people who are gay or people who are Christian but non-traditionalists, or, you know, people who look and live and love like me, as long as I'm shifting the way that the outside world views them,
Hmm.
and I'm bringing a positive light, or just understanding, more
Understanding and
understanding,
normalizing it because we're
or normalize,
just regular
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Like,
then I'm doing my work. And that has shown itself by releasing music, that has shown itself by choreography and creative direction, that has shown itself through acting on TV and stage. It's shown itself in multiple disciplines, but at the end of the day, I know that's my purpose. So as long as I'm doing something that aligns with that, uh I just want to do it on bigger platforms.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That's what's up. All right. Dope, 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 dope. Well, thank you for, giving the Giggle Gang some background about yourself. Now that we
Yeah.
got that out of the way, let's get into this water
Mm-hmm.
cooler.
Okie dokie.
Oh, so do you watch Game of Thrones?
I do. I do.
So
Uh-huh.
about two
Let's
weeks
go.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
was it yeah, about
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago or the week before last, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, the series finale of
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones aired on HBO.
Yes, it did.
We have been waiting for the series finale for about 2 years
Yes, we
because
have.
they took a 2 year break.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor, that was the worst series finale I have ever. I'm mad. Like I really I want my money back. The thing is, I don't pay for the HBO that I have, but still,
Uh-huh. But still,
I want something. But what was that? Like it would.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. We knew a couple of things well, we knew for one, Daenerys had to die.
She did absolutely. It was the most
So
anticlimactic death
it
ever.
really but
But
Drogon.
uh-huh.
Drogon, that was a beautiful moment. And
Was
so
it?
we got to see it was like he nudged her, or I still don't know if
Y'all be so
Drogon is a
into these
well,
dragons.
it was sweet. It was sweet. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think series finales can ever be
Good.
top. Like it's just it's way too much expectation. It's
Yes.
too much expectation. It's
Yes.
too much expectation from so many like separate, so many different minds,
Types
so
of
many
views.
different
Yes, yes,
types of
yes.
viewers. Like I always be like, if I ever do a TV show, we just gonna like y'all gonna be like, oh, we're not coming back this season, and that's gonna be it. Whatever you got left with last, enjoy. Cause it's just
So
I wouldn't want to put that on me. Cause I think about like the Scandal series finale. Remember how
oh,
upset people? That's what I'm saying. Like,
it it was whack. It was you're right. It was whack, right? I think the reason why people are even more so upset about the Game of Thrones series finale, because like Scandal,
mm-hmm,
Game of Thrones was very social media driven. Like
mm-hmm,
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, like
mm-hmm,
everybody is talking, live tweeting, or doing a synopsis after the show. It's
mm-hmm,
just,
mm-hmm.
there's few shows that are like that, where they just
Yeah.
they garner that type of interest, right? I think it was because we waited 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, bruh, what did we wait 2 years for? Not only was like, okay, I didn't like most of us didn't like the series finale, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then you had little things like water bottles being left in the scene and coffee cups being left in the scene. I'm like, yeah, we waited 2 years.
Listen,
Editing didn't get this right.
listen.
Like,
They were playing
what
End of the
what
Road.
what were
They were
you
playing
doing?
End of the Road in that editing bay, and
Listen,
the sounds of Boys to Men made them be like, water bottle, cool. Starbucks, cool.
I'm
Y'all
like,
gonna
come
get this.
on.
Y'all
Like,
gonna get this, and you gonna like it.
so what were we waiting for? I thought this is what y'all were
Well,
doing. I thought it was production
from
and
what they reported, there was like a lot of CGI work that went into this last season, and
I
I mean,
bet because that damn Drogon killed what was it, King's Landing,
I mean
just set it
that
ablaze for 45 minutes of a 80-minute show. I was like, what? I was like, come on. Like, how he not tired?
That and the long night. Like I think between those two
They
episodes,
were
that was
terrible.
a lot of just like CGI and like
CGI, no dialogue. Like, I think when I heard Cersei talk on the episode right before
mm-hmm.
episode 7,
Yeah.
first of all, we didn't see her until 30 minutes into the show.
Yes.
And hearing her talk is when I realized, oh snap, like I haven't heard it. I haven't heard anybody talk
I haven't heard anyone speak.
for like, no one's spoken for at least 25 minutes.
I will say I was more upset with how Cersei died than I was with the entire series finale.
Why were you upset about how
Because
Cersei died?
I wanted Arya for some reason
To slit her throat?
to like slit her throat, take
Mm-hmm.
her face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now I don't know what she would have done once she put on Cersei's face, because then like she probably would have had to fight Daenerys.
So my
But then
question is, does she still have that capability to take on people's faces?
yes, they
Because
just
she
like
didn't do it at
decided
all.
in like the last season not to like
That's why I was confused. I was
they're
like, well,
like,
maybe
oh,
she
she's
doesn't
gonna
have
kill
that.
the Night King, so that's gonna make her a bad bitch. And I mean she still is
She
the
definitely
baddest
is.
bitch. Be clear. But I was really upset. I was like, through all of this fighting, through all of this, she had her list. I was really invested in her list.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wanted so the way like Cersei
She died in an earthquake. A dragon induced earthquake is how
let me tell
Cersei
you this.
died.
The way she tipped down those stairs, when the hound was fighting his
Like
brother,
his brother. Oh,
she
excuse
said,
me.
oh no. She said,
I need to get back
excuse
here.
she did everything but like put up one finger. Like she was
If
very
she had put up a finger, I would have died.
she's
Okay.
very much like, you know what? This has nothing to do with me.
I'm gonna skedaddle.
So
If you don't mind.
I'm just gonna push it.
If you don't mind, excuse
I'm
me.
just excuse me. And it was like, go ahead, go ahead, by sis. Go. But
Um,
yeah, it
Daenerys, I feel like, okay, so I've read a whole bunch of articles about
mm-hmm,
this, and I get
mm-hmm,
it. Like, the last book hasn't been written. The producers and directors of the HBO show are trying their best to basically wrap everything up in a bow. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
they did. Like if you really think about it, if you look at the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
everything had a conclusion.
Yeah.
Everything was finite. Like it was
Yes.
like, okay, boom. And it's just kind of like, well, you don't necessarily have to do that for everything, but there are some viewers, a lot of viewers,
Mm-hmm.
who were content with that, even if they didn't like it, knowing that there was some finality to it. It's like, okay, great, thank you for
Right.
doing that. My issue was, again, we spent 2 years and this is what you came up with. So that I don't think people are talking about that enough. It's not that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I it just wasn't my cup of tea. It's
Mm-hmm.
it took y'all 2 years to come up with that. Like,
Well, and that's what, like, apparently the writers are like, people started figuring out what the ending was going to be, so they changed it.
mm-hmm.
Uh, which, like, I'm like,
Who cares?
why?
Who cares? Because I
Why?
didn't know.
I didn't. Here's the thing, like, I'm not a day one Game of Thrones fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I started watching Game of Thrones at the beginning of the seventh season.
Okay. So
And
I
just like
started at the
started.
beginning of the third or the
Okay.
fourth.
So maybe because I don't have as much time equity invested, I was
That's
like,
why.
okay, child, bye. Cause y'all done gave me these cute silent deaths for Cersei and Daenerys, who literally like deserve to die like the most
Horrible death.
horrible deaths.
Horrible.
Like, we have seen much lesser people do much lesser things and get their throats slit in the street.
In the streets.
Like random soldiers. That random soldier, that Grey Worm, when he got into it
Yeah.
with John, and he was like, "Oh no, my orders are kill everybody,
And he
kill
just went to
everything."
slashing throats in the street. I was like,
He looked John dead in the eye and was like, eh,
sorry, bruh. Sorry,
"What's
not
up?"
sorry. What's up?
And you could be next.
What's up?
What you want?
Yeah,
I
it
just
was.
yeah.
Ugh, yeah,
It was I think Sansa being Queen of the North, sure.
yeah. It makes
Go
sense.
over there by yourself where you can kick and scream.
Right.
John going back with the wildlings is,
Okay.
I feel like, in his heart where he wants to be, because
No,
he said he didn't want to be king.
let's pause on that.
Let's pause. Let's go.
John. Okay. John. John Snow.
Poor John.
Aegon Targaryen, a bastard. Bruh. John has died. John has been killed by the Night's Watch. John has gone through so much only to be exiled into the wilderness. Like,
You
what
know,
do we, huh? And then
this is America.
shut up.
Let's
But then,
go.
but not only that, I think that was like, okay, it's John. That's just his life. But Bran the Broken, you got to explain that to me. Bran the Broken? What do we,
Literally, I was very
what?
much like, why, huh? What?
How?
But, well, first of all, how is Tyrion the prisoner who
Yes.
has committed treason, who has done like all
The
these
voice of
things,
reason.
the voice of reason? I'm like, and y'all think y'all rebuilding y'all monarchy from listening to? I mean, mind you, Tyrion has a lot of
He's
insight.
wise,
He is wise,
but he was,
but
yeah,
here's the thing with Bran. Bran knows the history of the Seven Kingdoms.
I get it.
And
Is
he can
Bran never gonna
see,
die? I'm confused.
I mean, he will die. And then they said at that point, they're just going to all sit around in that tent again and be like, hey, so who you think?
You
Hey,
know
so who
what?
you think? They laughed at the idea of democracy.
Which I thought
Um,
was hilarious
they
given
were
the
like,
current state that we're in.
they're like, democracy?
Sit your
Ha!
ass down.
Then my horse can vote. Like, it was, I was like, oh, okay. I think they chose, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just one of
exactly.
those things. Like, we're not, we're not gonna be happy. There was
We're
no
not.
way that we were gonna be happy, and so they were like, "Well, here, take this." It was like school lunch.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
You
It was just,
hungry? So eat this.
I totally get it. I get it. Again,
I
we
don't
had
agree
two
with it.
years. Yeah,
I
two
don't agree
years.
with
It
it.
was
I don't
bad.
agree with it at all. But that's what they gave us.
It is what it is. So yes, Game of Thrones is over. The end of an era. Game of Thrones was on TV for like 10 years. So
Yes. Well, I am
definitely
excited about whatever prequel they're working on that has black actors.
yes.
I mean,
I'm curious to see how it's gonna do though. Sometimes these prequels don't always survive, but
right.
we shall see.
We shall see.
Because the whole Game of Thrones, the actual books, there's a lot. Like this was just
Mm-hmm.
a sliver of
Mm-hmm.
what the books entail. So we shall see.
We
Switching,
shall.
we shall see. Switching gears. I just want to give a shout out to Meg the Stallion. H
Just
Town, stand
an-
up.
another bad bitch.
Listen.
Just like ever since that Beats One freestyle,
Yes.
I have been like,
Yes.
oh
Oh,
wow.
so you rap.
So you rap
Oh, like you a real rapper.
like you
Like for real,
spitting
for real. Okay.
like you got bars
Bars. Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Snickers, Kit Kat, Payday, Milky Way, all the bars.
All of
All right,
them.
all of
All
them.
of them. You have them.
Newbie,
Yes.
caramel, peanuts, all of it.
Yo,
I live in
listen.
the
Meg is
body, and
out here,
if you look on
yo.
her Instagram now, she's kind of like snatched back a little bit,
Yes. Yes.
just to like show you girls like there's no surgery.
Yes.
You know
Like
what I mean?
don't
These are
get it
all my
twisted.
things.
Don't get it
These are all my
twisted.
things.
This is this is Houston's finest here, okay? Get
I'm here for it.
listen, the reason why I'm so excited about Meg the Stallion for a couple of reasons, but the
Mm-hmm.
main two, the way that she raps, like with any rapper, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to draw comparisons, right? People are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
is she like Foxy Brown? Is she like
Mm-hmm.
Lil Kim? Is she like Trina?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, she's like Meg. Like
Seriously.
I love the way she's just about her business. And there's
Yeah.
something about how do I say this? Hmm. There's just something about belittling the
Mm-hmm.
male
Yeah.
uh, the male ego.
Belittling patriarchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
Seriously.
because it's
Yes.
like for the longest, this is what music has been about, entertainment has been about,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this bitch, I'm gonna get her, and I'm gonna do this
Yeah.
for her, and this, that, and the other. And for any of us who have sex,
Yeah.
like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Both people should be getting pleasure, but there
Mm-hmm.
is a level of vulnerability. There is a level of, okay, I have to acquiesce in this situation. And it ain't always the female that's like, oh my God, oh, this was just great. No, you niggas be out here crooning too, like, oh, like squirming and all type of stuff. And
Right.
Meg is here to let you know that that is
I
what's
don't.
going to
She
happen.
said, "I don't even chase liquor. Why would I chase
Why
some
would I
liquor?
chase you? Like, what are we talking about?
If I
Like,
could take this Douce straight, I can handle anything else in life.
listen, what did
Look
she
at me,
say?
Superwoman.
No, seriously, what did she say? She said, we don't show up together, but I text them when I'm ready to leave. You know,
Yeah.
listen, if that's not my mantra for the summer,
Listen,
listen,
listen.
we don't gotta show up together. I'm gonna text you when I'm ready though. You ready? Let's go. Listen, she's just amazing,
She is
right?
amazing, and I love the fact that like she took a break to go to college.
Yes.
Uh, like she's almost done with her degree program, and she's like, let's just like drop a record.
I mean, it's just the summertime. Like I'm out here.
I just I love that what we're seeing with female rap specifically
Yes.
right now is this level of
Yes.
authenticity
Yes.
that at one point I thought might be lost.
Mm.
Um I
No,
mean
that's
even
real.
like,
I
hey
mean, the whole Nicki Minaj era. I'm not even trying to.
and
And I was a Nicki fan, but it was
Nicki
like,
Minaj, I worked for Iggy Azalea.
yeah,
Period.
exactly. That's it.
Period.
That's
Period.
it.
So it's
It got
like
to a point where it's like, oh, so we're all gonna be characters. Got
so
it.
this is what we're gonna do. Okay, well
Cool.
I'm gonna leave.
Right. And there's only gonna be one of us. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so
Cool.
now you have this camaraderie. You have Meg, you have Melly, you have City Girls,
Mm-hmm.
you have Malibu Mitch, you
Mm-hmm.
have all these Asian Doll, Cash Doll, all these girls giving you authenticity
Yep.
from different places.
Right.
You got from Detroit, from Houston,
Atlanta,
from Miami,
Houston,
Atlanta.
LA.
Like,
Yeah.
and what it's proving to me is not only what we already knew, that everybody can win,
Right.
but
That's
also
it.
that authenticity is like important.
Yes.
It's so important to be you, to
It
be
really is.
you,
You
and
can't
like,
be you can only be the best you. That's it.
and people who made a living off of not being themselves are now caught
Suffering
between. They're just
the
like, I
consequences.
don't know who I am. I don't know
Yeah.
what to do. I don't
And they
know.
out here looking crazy.
Crazy,
Crazy,
crazy.
Nikki. But anyway,
Mm. But anyway,
so no, I'm glad that you said that because I am just so happy to see multiple. You
yeah,
just rattled off a list of female MCs out here doing their thing, and it's like there's no beef. Like,
no,
it's not like, oh, you know what I mean? Like camaraderie.
mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
sis is doing her thing over there. All right, I'm doing my thing over here. We may collaborate on this record. We may not. It's no beef though. Like we
yeah,
don't. Everything ain't got to be a collaboration because that's the
no,
other thing. It's like, oh, well, they don't like each other because they don't. Everybody don't have to rap together. Like, what are we talking about? Like, let these people do what they
be,
do. Like,
yeah,
let them be. Exactly.
yeah.
So, shout out to Meg and all the women out here doing
Shout
their
out,
thing. Y'all
man.
go get her album, Fever.
Yes,
It is a bop. It is,
about.
listen, I was listening to that last weekend while cleaning in my house, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, Saturday morning. I'm here for
Hits,
it. Like, let's do it.
hits. I love
Speaking
it.
Speaking of rappers, this past weekend, Mr. Meek Mills from Philadelphia could not get into the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas.
Oh, I
Uh,
missed this. What
yes,
happened?
Rep said that with the information that we have, we are refusing to do business with you.
Oh,
And Meek was like, and this is all on video. Meek is like, what information do you have? And they were like, if you step foot on the premises, you will be arrested. And he's like, what is the problem? At the time, DJ Mustard was performing.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he and DJ Mustard have beef. I think he was actually going to
Yeah,
support DJ
because
Mustard.
Mustard does a residency there.
Right. So I don't know what happened. I do not have any more information on it. The way that the hotel was communicating was as if someone told them that Meek Mill had some type of beef or altercation with someone who either works there or someone else who was already a guest there, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't want any problems.
Mm.
They were standing up from the position or speaking from the position of we were trying to avoid something happening. And Meek is like, this is racist.
Yeah.
You guys are discriminating against me. And it was hard for me to really kind of believe that because I'm like, well, DJ Mustard is really literally in there, but then again, DJ Mustard is an act for them,
Mm-hmm.
so they're making money. So I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
really interesting. That's
It's
really
very
weird. I
interesting because
mean, if the same thing happened to me, I would just need more of an explanation.
yes, and that
I
was
would
the thing.
need
They wouldn't give
more.
an explanation.
Yeah. So it would be.
They
Uh,
were like, we're at capacity, and he's like, but even if I want to go eat, like I'm not trying to go to the pool party. I just want to go to the restaurant and eat. And that's when they said, if you step foot on the premises, we will have you arrested. And I was just like, well, god damn.
I mean, it's private property. They definitely have the
They did mention
legal
that.
right to
Yep.
do that.
Yep.
But that's just, it doesn't look good.
It's a lie.
It doesn't look good at all. And
It
I hate that
doesn't.
for him. I mean,
He's been through so
yeah,
much. So
yeah,
much. So I think there's a level of sensitivity that a lot of
definitely.
these organizations need to learn and
Yeah.
exercise. There's a level of communication that I think that all of this could have been avoided because I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a really bad look for the Cosmopolitan Hotel, especially if Meek gets more information that whatever it is that they were telling them was false. I think that this could
I
be a
mean, I
bad
would
look for them, but
definitely still be kind of, it's such a hard thing because it's like, is this something I want to dwell on and like dig into and dive into and try to figure out why it happened? Or is this something that I just want to be like, you know what, it happened, it was unpleasant,
Mm-hmm.
but it happened, and now I know I'm not spending money at the Cosmopolitan anymore. I'll go to the MGM, or I'll go to, you know what I mean? So it's very, I just,
I feel
I
you
don't like
because I
that
think
feeling.
I think you and I are of the same mindset in for this case, right? I think for
Yeah,
Meek, because of everything that he's been through,
yeah,
I don't see him letting this go quietly.
yeah.
And he has a right. He has a
Definitely.
right to
No, no,
feel a
no.
strong type of way. Again, the way that the hotel, because you cannot believe everything. The way that because when I read the hotel statement, I was like, oh well, I mean, it looks as if they were trying to avoid some unnecessary confusion. But I don't know that Meek has those type of
And
problems.
I feel like
Not
even
in this
if,
day and age with everything he's been
right,
through and the people that he's aligned himself with, from Jay-Z to Robert Kraft. Like, I just don't see Meek out here trying to bust guns with anybody,
yeah.
you know?
But I also feel like that's what happens when you start standing up for something.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all of the conversations that he's been a part of with criminal justice reform,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're taking money out of people's pockets,
Yep.
out of major corporations
Yep.
pockets, and it sets you up as a target, and people feel like, oh,
Colin.
you know what I mean, like, right, for real. But like, we don't know who owns the Cosmopolitan.
Exactly.
We don't know what prisons that person owns, or what prison pipeline he's getting money
Yep.
from, or like, it's so many things. It's so much deeper. And
That's why I
a
say
I just
Meek is not gonna let this go.
I really hope he doesn't internalize it. I
Right.
hope he uses this as another way to elevate his platform on criminal justice reform, and a way for people to also see that he isn't some angry, out of control rapper. Like, he is out here and he is trying to, make some changes. And if that means having to bite the bullet and walk off the Cosmopolitan properties, then he'll do that. Uh, but it's still just, it's really like, it makes me uncomfortable even thinking about it. Even thinking about walking up to the Cosmopolitan, or driving up to the Cosmopolitan under that little passageway that they have
Mm-hmm.
to get to the front door, and somebody meeting me at the front door and being like,
Nah, you can't come in.
no.
I was just there last year. I would be like, what you talking about?
Yeah, I don't like, I just don't like how it feels. I don't, yeah.
It's wild.
So
Yeah.
we
So
are not going to the
no,
Cosmopolitan.
we're not. I like the Aria better anyway. That's where I stayed. So
Boom,
whatever.
done. Wait, where's Cardi's residency at?
Oh, I do not know. Where is it at?
Is it at the Palm? Or wait,
Let's look.
quick Google. Google break.
Google is our friend.
It is.
Cardi B.
Yeah, it's at the
Is
Palms.
that the palm? Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
see it here.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Whew. So
Oh, okay.
Cardi was gonna be like, oh no, not today.
Not today.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. On to more fortunate things. Do
okay.
you watch basketball, Victor?
No.
So we're in the
Sorry,
middle.
sis.
It's okay. It's all right. I already knew the answer to that. I said,
She's a no girl.
So the NBA finals will be underway tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The Toronto Raptors will be
Mm-hmm.
playing the two-time defending champions, the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Toronto pulls it out
Mm-hmm.
for a myriad of reasons. One being I can't stand the Golden State Warriors because
Why not?
I get bored with the same team winning.
I mean, but if they're good.
They are good. They are good. I get bored with the same team winning, and Draymond Green gets on my nerves. Like
Got you.
he really gets on my nerves. But
Got
I
you.
mean, it is what it is. Like I'm not gonna take anything away from them. Like they're an amazing team. Like the
Mm-hmm.
team is really good. They are pretty stacked. You
Mm-hmm.
got uh the one of the greatest shooters of all time, Steph
Mm-hmm.
Curry. You got
Mm-hmm.
KD.
Mm-hmm.
You got Klay Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
Andre Iguodala. Like they have it's like the Monstars pretty much
Got you. Got you.
from Space Jam. But it's cool. Like they likely will win, but we shall see.
So, what team does Steph's brother play for?
He plays for the Port. No, yes, he plays for Portland.
because I did see like when
Trailblazers.
their
They played
mom
against each
had that
other.
jersey on with both
Mhm.
sides, and I was like, oh, cute
It's cute.
fashion,
Fat.
mom fashion.
Okay. You know what? You are ridiculous.
You
But
know,
the reason
team mom fashion. I'm here for it.
honestly, the reason why I am going for or I'm rooting for the Toronto Raptors is not because of Drake's antics. Although I
Hmm.
do love them, I think they're hilarious. And
Hmm.
Toronto's not even an American team. Like that's another thing. Like
You know, let's be clear.
it is what it is. But they are a member of the National Basketball Association.
Hmm.
However, my number one reason for rooting for the Toronto Raptors is the fact that their president is a Nigerian. I
Mm.
did not know that. And me being
Mm.
Nigerian makes me very, very excited.
You
So
feel connected
I
now.
do. So his name is Masai Uroji.
Okay.
Yeah, Ujuri. Yes, Masai Ujuri. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. But I because when they won the Eastern Conference
Hmm.
final last week, I was like, he came out there and he spoke, and I was like, his accent sounds familiar. Like, and I
Oh
don't
God.
follow the Toronto Raptors. Like,
you said you said uncle?
I was like, Uncle, is that you?
Is that you?
So I was like, well, let me Google this guy.
Uh-huh.
And, like we said, Google is our friend.
Yes.
Find out he's Nigerian. And I was like, oh, what up, Drake?
Yeah.
Sis, it's me and you. I'll be
It's
rooting.
us.
It's us. Like,
We're together.
so the final start tomorrow. It should
Okay.
be pretty interesting. They're both really great teams. Like I said, the Golden State Warriors are the two-time defending champions. They've been to the finals the last 5 years. I
Hmm.
believe they've won four of
Oh,
the last five. I think the one that they lost was to LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
got
But
you.
yeah, this is exciting. Like I'm anxious to see what happens because Toronto is a good team. Like
Hmm.
they have Kawhi Leonard, who came from the San Antonio Spurs. They have Kyle Lowry. They have really great players on their team. So we shall see. But the only reason why Irene is rooting for Toronto is because there is a Nigerian at the helm of the organization. So
And there you have it. So I guess
that's it.
I will in tandem root for the Toronto Raptors
I
as well.
appreciate it.
I
Thank
might even go get a little jersey, you
you.
know.
Fashion.
Fashion.
I
Fashion.
wish you guys could see him because I'm like, he's really gonna get a jersey just for fashion. Probably only
Yeah.
wear it one time and be like, okay, this is
Right. You know, I need to make sure I get it before they win because
yes,
if
so that
they
you don't look like
win,
a bandwagoner.
I'm gonna have to text you and be like, whose jersey should I get?
Oh Lord.
You know, so I can make sure I'm like, because you've named all these names in the last 3 minutes, and I'm
Oh
like,
yes. Oh, I got you. I'll
you
tell you
lost
who to
me
get.
after KD, and I was like,
Yeah, I saw your face. I was like, he looks
people, people who play, yeah,
It was
awesome,
so ridiculous. And then
yeah,
the last thing around the water cooler, we are coming upon, or I guess you can say we're in the middle of graduation season. Like people have been
yeah,
graduating since the beginning of May, but graduation season goes all the way up until what, the middle of June?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, my youngest sister graduated from medical school, New York Medical College. Shout out to all the
Shout
medical
out,
students. We were super excited. Family went up to New York
mm-hmm.
dressed in all of our fine Nigerian garb and acted a
Yes,
fool at
yes,
Carnegie Hall because my sister is a surgeon, y'all,
I
a
love it.
urology surgeon. So black girls rock,
I
black girl
mean,
magic, all of that great stuff.
all the things,
We're so to say the family is extremely proud and on cloud
yes,
nine is an absolute understatement. Like we're just so proud of my sister and you know making us look good. So shout out to baby sis Zena. I love you. It's
yes,
great. But I want
congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I also wanted to close out the water cooler with this story about a young man named Tupac Mosley.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 17-year-old high schooler who just graduated. valedictorian of Raleigh Egypt High School in Memphis, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did he graduate valedictorian, not only did he graduate as a valedictorian, but he received over $3 million in scholarship offers and was accepted to over 44 colleges and universities, all doing this while being homeless.
Wow.
His father passed away in 2017, and things got really rough. And I believe at some time earlier this year or late last year, their family was not able to pay for their housing situation, so they were
Mm.
left without a place to stay. And he persevered. Like, he was like, I
I
gotta
love
I gotta
that.
make it, I gotta make it work. So it's just amazing to see the type of adversity that folks can get through, can go through.
Yeah.
Like 17, I mean, he's 17 now, but 16, 15, knowing that life is just not dealing him the best of cards,
Yeah.
but still doing what you like, having the mindset to be like, the only way that I know to get out of my situation right now is to do well in school. Do
Yeah.
well in school. And he was like, I'm going to do better than well. I'm going to be number one. So,
Word.
he was
Tupac.
accepted. Yes. And named after Tupac Shakur. His name is
Tupac
Tupac
back.
Shakur Moses.
Tupac back.
Okay.
Shout
Okay.
out to Rick
This
Ross.
is
Sorry.
thank you. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But not only did he do all of that, he
Mm-hmm.
decided to go to an HBCU.
Oh, word.
He will be going to Tennessee State
Awesome.
University, and I am just super proud and super happy to see that he's doing that. They interviewed the president of Tennessee State, and she was like, "I'm on my way down to Memphis to pick him up to drive him back to Nashville. I think that's where, or vice versa."
Yeah.
And I was like, once you have administration, they're like, you're in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be set, young man. And I have
Yeah.
no reservation, I have none whatsoever that he's going to do absolutely well at that school. And shout out to picking the HBCU, man. We got to keep
Yeah.
our genius within the family. So I'm
Amen.
all for it. I'm all for it. And if you haven't already, check out Homecoming on Netflix.
I
Beyonce,
mean,
I mean, she
if
doesn't
you
need my
haven't
voice,
already,
but
like, what are you doing?
right.
What are
So
you doing?
it's just what it is. So
Get with it.
that's that. We are done around the water cooler. The last thing that I want to give the Giggle Gang is what's in my beats this week. And y'all know how I feel about music. I love all types of music. And, there's been so much going on over the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks. But you want to know what's in my beats this week, y'all?
What's in your beat, sis?
What's in my beats this week is a song. It's called Venom. It's
Ah,
by this artist named Victor
ah,
Jackson. He didn't know I was gonna do that, but
I didn't. I
I'm dead
didn't.
ass I'm
I,
dead ass serious. I've been listening and I'm like, this is a bop. Like, this is definitely
oh,
a bop. And
thank
like Victor
you.
said earlier, the song just came out last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It is on iTunes right now
Mm-hmm.
or Apple Music right now.
Apple
But
Music and Spotify right
and
now.
Spotify right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be on all other platforms by the time you guys hear
Mm-hmm.
this episode. But before you guys do that, just take a listen. Victor Jackson, Venom. That's what's in my beats this week. Y'all check it out. So I'll put it in because I've already downloaded
Oh,
it. I
oh, thank
put in a
you.
little snippet so the people know what's
Yeah.
good.
Ah.
So yes, good people, that was my guy. Listen, this is the first time that I've actually had a guest on the show who actually had a song that was in my beats. It's the first
Oh,
time for everything.
I feel so blessed.
You are, sir.
And
You
again,
are.
people, preparation meeting opportunity. Get your
Hey,
life. Get
yes,
your
yes,
life.
yes. So that was Venom by Mr. Victor Jackson, my beautiful and awesome and amazing and star power guest
Oh,
today,
thank
chopping it up
you.
with me on FSG podcast.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
yeah, I think that's all we got for this week. So Victor, is there
Yes.
anything you want to tell people? How can they get in contact with you? How can they
Uh,
follow you on Instagram and Facebook and all that
you
other
can
stuff?
follow me on all platforms at Mr. Glamrock Soul. That's MrGlamRockSoul. And download Venom.
Yes.
Uh, it's It'll be on all digital platforms by this Friday, May 31st. So yeah, check it out. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter. Let the people know it's the summer bop.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Vic, thank you so much for chopping it up. Thank you so much for chopping up with me this week.
You're
This
welcome.
was
Thanks for
dope.
having me.
Absolutely.
And I learned more
Absolutely.
about basketball.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm
You
glad you
know,
were able to learn something.
an exchange of information, of knowledge, if you will.
Exactly. Well, this was dope. So good people. I think that's all I got for y'all this week. And true FSG fashion, Victor, go on and tell the people bye.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all be easy. Victor, this was great.
This is so much fun.
Yes, this was